a good bit of time. The rain really just got out of here. The crown, though, on this field is about as big as any in the area. Not too bad of a track. We should be all right.
Yeah, the edges are a little sloppy, but it'll be very interesting to see how it plays into Goose Creek's game plan, which is to run the football.
And how will it affect the passing game of Ashley Ridge? He's only a sophomore, but he's got one of the better arms in the area, Matt Duncan.
Well, you look at Matt Duncan, we've seen him play earlier this year. The great thing about him is his poise as a sophomore quarterback. The other thing, he's got some wide receiver and some skill players that really help set him apart.
One guy, J.J. McAfee, $160 in the loss to Somerville last week. On the ground, Goose Creek has gone back to their triple option. Dante Smith made a day for himself, getting the team to the win last week.
They throw the ball 9 times a game, and that's in 4 games. So they've thrown it about 38 times this year. But as you said, Dante Smith last week ran for 160 yards, really got this offense on track. We'll see if they're able to continue that trend into tonight.
Can the Goose Creek Gators get win number 2 in the process? It would put them around the top of Region 7-5A. It's the Swamp Foxes and Gators. Ashley Ridge has never beaten Goose Creek. It's coming up. It's John Fulmer Fields, and we are set for Goose Creek and Ashley Ridge. 6th straight year that these two teams are meeting. Ashley Ridge trying to come away with their first ever victory over the Gators. Let's jump right on into our Subway recipes for success.
Very simple tonight for Ashley Ridge. They have got to dig a trench on both sides of the football. One of the reasons they struggled so much with Somerville, the Green Wave owned both the offense and defensive line. They also have to be running on empty. They have got to certainly empty the Goose Creek Gator gas tank. They love to run the ball. They shut down the run. It'll be an easy win. As for Goose Creek, they've got to have the possession obsession, meaning they have got to hold on to the ball, keep it out of the hands of that sophomore quarterback, Matt Duncan. And Duncan Booth, they've just got to put pressure on him, and they've got to sink him as often as possible.
All right, I got it. You're having some fun with these, the Duncan Booth. You been in a dunk booth before?
I have.
I haven't.
I have.
Is it fun?
It depends how cold it is outside.
Here are our Chevy Silverado starting lineups. We'll start with the Gators offensively. They are going to receive the opening kickoff. Second straight week that Dijon Singleton will start under center. He's the one who has more experience in the option game and led them to the victory last week at West Ashley. Chevy Silverado starting defense for the Swamp Foxes. They've got a couple of very good players in their two back lines. We're going to focus on 22 Rodney Oldham towards the bottom there of this starting lineup. Oldham had 20 tackles last week. Pound for pound, according to Kenny Walker, the Swamp Foxes head coach, he is the best player he's got on his team at 5'9", 175. So, your Chevy Silverado starters are ready to go. Goose Creek will return the opening kickoff after winning the coin toss and deferring. And Alex Lazik will get us going here. Interesting to see tonight how Goose Creek evolves offensively. They weren't too fancy, putting up 31 first-half points at West Ashley. See how much more is into the playbook. Here's James Wilson now, and he'll put the Gators out at the 35. Last week, the Gators threw one pass, and the quarterback didn't even throw it. So that's the type of offense that they have gone back to. Their traditional Chuck Reedy era, veer option, however you want to put it.
No, they struggled early in this season, finally got on track last week. So why change it? It didn't seem broken last week, right?
Absolutely. It worked out very well for him, and this man is a big reason why. Dijon Singleton, only a junior, and Dante Smith is bottled up quickly as he tries to get through. That's Avion Dennis. It's a 4-4-3 look for Ashley Ridge, and number 2, the senior, Dennis, with the stop.
I know it means nothing at all, but when you're down on the field and you see these guys, McAfee, the wide receiver for Ashley Ridge, you look at him and you go, player. You watch Dante Smith walk onto the field and you say, player.
There's something to that eye test. Every now and then, people will scoff at it, but it's the real deal. Tavion Major lowers his shoulder, tries to forward that progress, but he's pushed backwards by Lindbergh Ankrum. Defensive end, linebacker, bit of the hybrid. It'll be third down.
The one thing that Goose Creek really wants to stay away from tonight are third and long situations because, again, they've thrown the ball on average 9 times per game, so they cannot get too far behind the chains and expect to find success.
They improved on third down last week, but it's been a struggle for him this year. That mesh point wasn't clean. Singleton comes away with it. Major has the first down.
And tack on 15 for a little tugging of a headgear.
How about that? And that ball was as close to being fumbled as it was going for a first down.
Well, he did a great job holding on to the ball for as long as possible, and that was truly the key to the success of that play. You hold on to the ball, Singleton does, looked like he was going to keep it on the inside and then made that pitch just at the last moment, and it really was wide receiver on defensive back and did a nice job containing his block and giving Major a chance to turn the corner. So remember what I said about they don't need to get too far behind the chains so they can find some trouble? I take it all back.
Yep. Third down and 7. 29. So they're on the move. Now, this is a Gators team that prior to the 31 points, 7 points in 3 games total and 200 yards total. And Lindbergh Ankrum will make his second tackle here of the game. This one behind the line.
Just a side note for everybody at home watching on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or wherever we're showing this game. The that we showed earlier in the year, Darren was not here.
That's true.
The only game that Goose Creek has been on Friday Night Rob was not here.
I mean,
I don't even know what it means.
That's, you know those old commercials, Did You Know, with the star flashing across?
Yep.
Yeah. Singleton has that one taken away by Smith, who's ridden to the ground by 8 back yards here for the Gators.
Yeah. Defense, and I liked about them when I saw them the first go, just the thing that Kenny Walker talked about when go is work on their speed, defensive side of the ball especially.
The story that they're coming off a season that dipped a little bit. They fell back to 3-8 last year, and they were using Matt Duncan freshman. And this year, while they've had a good deal of success, they've been lacking the big play at the big moment. And the defense has given up their fair share of big plays, but here they're going to get the punt unit out for Goose Creek.
Yeah, nice set of 3 plays there by Ashley Ridge's defense, actually backing up the Goose Creek offense by about 12 or 14 yards. You know, I would imagine working up a game plan for Goose Creek is very simple. You contain the gaps, contain the outside, and let your linebackers come in and clean up the mess.
And force them to show something different. They were very successful with the dive and a pitch to the left in last week's win. We've already seen more in that first drive alone of Singleton pulling it and getting to the edge with the pitch.
Yep.
By yard, that's just about a 27-yard punt. But by the eye test, it's perfect. It's down there at the 10, and the first possession here for the Swamp Foxes.
Again, all eyes will be on the quarterback as it is most often, but he's got some great skill players.
Chevy Silverado starting offense. Matt Duncan, only a sophomore, big-armed sophomore. His older brother was a star here at Ashley Ridge and is now a redshirt freshman up at Western Kentucky. J.J. McAfee, Troy Chavis, his 2 top targets. And they'll rotate the carries here between Nick Cunningham, who has it first and loses 4 yards. That looked like Keyshawn Mays, who was in to make the play. It'll be Cunningham and DeMar Proctor-Floyd getting the bulk of the carries. Chevy Silverado starters defensively. Kareem Lewis had a huge day last week. He was wearing number 31, and we weren't able to correctly identify him because of that. So Kareem Lewis deserves high praise for his game last week. He even got our big hit of the night.
Very nice.
Yeah. So he's back in his number 3. Now we know who he is at all times. Cunningham popped down by Anthony Martin, and it'll be 3rd and long.
In these 3rd and long situations, McAfee is the guy he likes to look for, but the possession guy, the guy who makes a lot of plays happen, is Troy Chavis. Got 4 touchdowns on the year, and both he and McAfee, yard-wise, are separated by 1 or 2 yards maybe.
Yeah. 2 of the best in the low country in receiving. And if you have 2 of the top 10 receivers in the low country, your quarterback probably has decent numbers, which he does. Duncan's thrown for over 1,200 yards. The southpaw leads his man too much, and a quick 3 and out for Ashley Ridge. The target was Josh Linton.
You know, and it's interesting when you look at the first 3 games. I think Goose Creek averaged, 70 yards a game maybe?
Yeah.
Put up 7 points in those first 3 games, and you're thinking, this is a struggling football team. But you look at time of possession, and I think they were down 3 minutes on average in all those games.
They were trying to do what has kind of become in vogue. Wow, risky move right there. Catching it on the run, Martin, check it, Wilson. And that risky move pays off for him. They're just going to put him at the 26.
It was a sinking line drive that he seemingly caught off the top of his shoes.
That'll work.
Yeah, the one thing is, I got over here about 5 o'clock today, and it had been raining for a little bit, and it continued to rain for a while. So you can see along the edges, we talked in the open about the crown of the field, but you look along the edges, it's already starting to be chopped up. But I'm thinking maybe on that punt, he's going to let it just kind of sit there because he's not going to get a lot of roll.
And certainly a wet ball you don't want to risk either. That's Dante Smith bouncing it there into the arms of the second leading tackler on the team, Rhett Butcher, 185-pound junior.
Smith last week, 160 yards on 16 carries?
Yeah, and I'll point this out, and I don't want to harp on him or steal his thunder, because it was a tough first 3 weeks, right? He was officially given 160 yards, but we were there, and I was charting him. He had a 20-yard touchdown run to begin the game, and he was given 79 yards for that touchdown run.
Well, that was nice.
That was very nice. So his stats are slightly inflated, but he still had about 100 yards on the day, and this is why, because he can hit that crease quickly and get downhill to put up a manageable 3rd down.
And that was a road game. That's a road statistician giving it to him.
So it boosted Goose Creek stats a little bit, and his individually.
Watch a nice blocking inside. Trap on the left side, allowing him to get through. And that's where Goose Creek's got some size up front, 330 pounds, 292 pounds on the left side.
That's a quick hitter on the dive, and that'll pick up the first down.
Oh, gosh. Away from the ball. Away from the ball, number 77, Tremaine James, 6'1", 330 pounds, going at it with number 53. That's Lindbergh Ankrum at 185. By the way, 330 beats 185 most every time.
Most every time. Before the game, I was talking with Chris Collins, the former head coach at Colleton County. Now he's an assistant here coaching the offensive line. He said, man, I got to run. I got to see if Big 77's playing today. There he is, leading the way for Dante Smith, who's down to the 6.
Yeah, and I saw somebody on the sidelines with crutches who also was fairly large. But you see Smith right there, being able to kind of plant and then turn his shoulders, and really does a nice job. Take a look at the big fella. Here we go. You don't really even have to block anybody because it's going to take a while for him to get around you.
That'll be a first down here as Smith dives his way through Butcher's tackle attempt and sets him up now 1st and goal, I believe.
Would it be all right if maybe we just gave him a nickname tonight?
Sure.
We'll just call him the Eclipse.
I like it.
That'd be good.
Yeah?
I'm sure it's like Mama calls him like Puddin' or something like that.
I don't know about Puddin'.
No?
I don't know. If I'm 330 and someone calls me Puddin'.
But it's your mom.
Yeah, it's true.
She's the only one that can get away with it.
That's true.
You know what we'll do? We'll get our own Erica Scrippa, maybe to ask him a little sidelines post-game interview.
If he's got that nickname.
Yeah.
I was right, amazingly enough. It's a first down. So it is, in fact, 1st and goal. And in the play is Jaheim President. The junior gets his name called. That's his 6th tackle for loss this year.
Jaheim President's brother, Jamel President. Played at Auburn, finished up north his college career, now is on the practice squad for the Houston Texans.
How about that?
See what happens when you miss a week of Friday Night Rivals driven by Low Country Chevy dealers?
You missed really good information.
You miss a lifetime.
Yeah. Don't worry, I was watching from whatever random town. Smith hit instantly. That was Nathan Estep. So this defensive unit, who Kenny Walker said he wants to make sure they're rallying around the ball, don't give up the big plays.
Yep.
Well, we've now called 5 or 6 different players here on these 2 drives.
Well, that goes back to that speed aspect. You see him kind of shooting the gap right there, getting Smith around the left leg. You would think at some point Goose Creek will do some type of misdirection. Once you get the defense going one way, see if they come up with a bootleg for Singleton.
Singleton gets that pitch down low. Tavion Martin lost it after he hit the ground. That signal's pretty clear. Rodney Oldham makes the hit, 4th leading tackler in the Low Country. Here comes the field goal unit.
Ombre Kennedy really making the play that stopped that run a little bit short, just getting a hand on the ankle there. We said a couple of weeks ago, if your first name's Ombre, you're a player. You're a player.
Gotta be. So we got some names, got some nicknames. Ombre is a player. He's got a bunch of colleges looking at him. Conference USA, some of the local schools. Here's Blake Ellington. And Goose Creek's going to have to call a timeout. They were late running a man out there. So we'll tell you about Ellington and the field goal attempt when we bring you back to Goose Creek. Track's holding up pretty well down there despite the earlier rains. It's a scoreless game inside 3 to go in the first quarter.
Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. How far should I go?
That's good. Yeah, it's good.
I need a box.
Blake Ellington had not attempted a field goal until last week's game, and he nailed a 35-yarder by half a yard. This one, straight on, 25 yards, maybe a tick to the left. And this one is hammered on through. So Ellington has hit his only 2 field goal attempts of the year, and he's got the Gators for the 2nd straight week out to the early lead. Speaking of out, we're going to go out of the booth and down to the sidelines. Here's Erica
nice.
Scrippa.
All right, guys, thanks. So both teams tonight are 1-0 on Friday night rivals, but tonight one team is going to have to go home with a loss of all the action on the sideline. Stay tuned on FNR. Back to you guys, Dean and Darren.
Hey, Erica, can you still hear us down there?
Uh-huh.
So listen, there's a guy, number 77 for Goose Creek. His name is Tremaine James. He's 330 pounds. If you could snoop around, I'm trying to find out if his nickname is Puddin'.
Is Puddin'?
Yeah, can you work on that for us?
I'll find
Tremaine
out for you.
James, number 77.
All right, I'll find out.
Awesome.
All right.
That's
Good work.
It's investigative reporting at its very best. By the way, the guy on the sidelines not suited up tonight, number 78, Daryl Washington. I thought I saw him. He's 5'9", 295. Whew.
Ashley Ridge takes this one close to their 25. Not a whole lot there for Josh Linton. And second possession of the day now for the Swamp Foxes, who went 3 and out. The important thing for Matt Duncan is to stay on his feet, get some protection, so he's not in that Duncan booth of Dean Stevens.
Well, they worked the run twice with Cunningham with very little effectiveness, and then Duncan's third down pass was just off the mark a bit. But I really like they've got a great running back. And once you start getting McAfee and Chavis, do a whole lot.
Quick spun down. Didn't realize it was National Donut Day. Did you? Oh, it's National Coffee Day.
Oh, yeah.
So see, the truck, you know, they can make us look like fools, but they can also make us look great.
This is true. And 99% of the time, we look great. They
Yes.
make us look great, should I say.
And it's not an easy thing to do.
Right, but isn't every day National Donut Day?
And Coffee Day. Absolutely.
Ooh.
That one was almost picked off. What a read by Julian Lawrence, who had a pick 6 last week.
Yeah, Lawrence picked that play up quickly, really jumped the route, just not able to get his hands on it to secure the ball. But you're right, that's about a 40-yard interception return for a touchdown.
You know, if Ken French was allowed on the field, he probably would have caught that. But he's not on the field. He is instead with Erica Scrippa.
He is. We're right here with Ken French from Cruise Chevrolet. Ken, thanks for being here tonight.
Oh, it's our pleasure. We're just right down the road. We're big fans of Goose Creek Gator football, so it's always fun to be here in the football stadium with the Gators.
And tell me why it's important for you guys at Cruise to be involved in these type of community events.
It's part of our DNA. It comes right from our owner, Robert Cruz. We felt very privileged to be successful in this, and it's important to give back. And you know, Chevrolet is the most awarded car company in the nation right now. And over the last 3 years in Cruise Chevrolet, we're winning our own awards as well. In the most recent Charleston's Choice Awards that the Post and Courier does, Cruise Chevrolet was chosen as the best place to buy a domestic vehicle. The Silverado was chosen as the best truck and SUV, and the Impala was a finalist in sedan. So, yeah, we not only win awards across the country, but right here in Charleston too.
And again, where can they find you, Ken?
Well, pretty easy to find us on Rivers Avenue, and like we always like to say, you've got a friend in the car business on Rivers, just north of Northwoods Mall.
Hey, you heard it here from Ken, guys. I'll send it on back to you in the booth.
I bet you've never heard that. You got a friend in the car business on Rivers by Northwood Mall. Ken has done an excellent job in his tenure out there, marketing Cruise Chevy, also some Cruise Subaru. That's a completion from Dijon Singleton. That's only his second throw of the year and his first completion.
That's 1 for 1 for 5 yards. Coming in, if you have said that the first completion of the day was completed by Goose Creek and not Ashley Ridge. Ken French has been a great person in this community, along with Robert Cruz. Talking with Ken we were here a couple of weeks ago, we found out, ironically enough, we both started in a small market in Texas.
With my buddy John Claybrook, who is out there as well. Lindbergh Ankrum, once again, the defensive end, makes the play at or around the line of scrimmage. That one might knock him back a couple of yards.
And there at the same time, Ken French and I were. Isn't that crazy?
But you didn't know each other.
No. Not that I remember.
That's your Zaxby's fans cam. Yeah. They are jacked up for some Goose Creek Gators football, and after a quarter, the Gators have the lead. One quarter is in the books. This team that had 200 yards and 7 total points in their first 3 games, they haven't trailed now in the last week and a quarter. We'll get you back to the second quarter with Gators looking at a 3rd down on Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy Dealers. Time for the second quarter here. Gators and Swamp Foxes, flip sides of the fields, and we're glad that you're with us. With Dean Stevens, I'm Darren Goldwater. Goose Creek, after trying to reinvent their offense, Auburn-like, spent months. That wasn't working. Now they're triple option, and, well, it is working. Crunching the numbers brought to you by Heritage Trust Federal Credit Union. Trust is everything. And look at some of your local leaders here. One of them in the game, Nick Cunningham, pushing up on 430 yards. But the story today has been Singleton, it's been Smith, and now it's Major who coughs up that football, and it's Nathan Eastep who recovers for Ashley Ridge. First lost fumble of the year for the Gators.
Isn't that something? As much as they've run the ball, they turned over right here on the far hash on the 3rd down play, starting to pick up some positive yardage. Let's see what happens on the outside. Look like number 16, Devon Crenshaw, they've got a hand in to kind of create the uncertainty there, and then the ball hits the turf.
And an opportunity for Ashley Ridge. They've run 6 plays. They've gone backwards and have a couple of 3-and-outs here. Duncan takes the shot down the seam after getting the turnover straight out of the Stevens playbook and has a big strike to Chavis.
By the way, it was Rhett Butcher putting a hand putting a hand on the ball to force that fumble. But you really like the delivery. It's short, it's quick, it's from the ear. There's not a lot of wasted motion in delivering it. And I think the biggest difference you see this year from this young man is composure.
Cunningham lowers his shoulder, but 3 Gators are there to gang up on him. James Wilson was in on it, so was Kareem Lewis. Again, back in his number 3, not 31 this week.
How about that? Just switching it up on us. There's Darren Spann coming through, helping on that tackle.
You know, if you have such a great game, now it's probably due to an equipment issue. The road jersey either didn't make the trip or it didn't fit. I don't know.
Right.
But you have a great game. Wouldn't you try and keep the number?
Yeah. If you're superstitious, you keep it.
Almost off of his back foot while leaping. That never looked good. Intended for the tight end, Josh Sharrow. Dean Subway, proud to offer you free mobile coupon. All you have to do is text SUBS to 44332. SUBS to 44332. You'll get an instant mobile coupon, and that'll get you any 2 6-inch fresh value meals for just $12 if you text SUBS to that number. It's a delicious offer from Subway. Message and data rates might apply.
Duncan never looked comfortable in the pocket on that throw. If he'd have just taken a step back, set his feet, it would have been a touchdown.
Like that. He sets it, fires, and it's knocked away and almost picked by Wilson. The hit right there from Kareem Lewis, who is clearly liking number 3 also.
Yeah, Kareem with a really nice break on the ball. Decides to separate the receiver from the ball. Now, you go back to wide receiver camp. You don't let the ball get to your pads, catch it out in front of you. That was the problem there.
So one big play that goes for 23 yards, and they'll be trying a field goal as well. This is a 37-yard attempt, and look at that leg from Alex Lazik.
Yeah, yeah.
That one's going to tie the game from 37. He drilled it. And we've got ourselves a field goal fest with a minute gone by here in the second quarter.
Speaking of wide receiver camp, Charleston Southern hosting Mississippi Valley State tomorrow.
In a
football game.
Okay.
Right. So most famous alumni from Mississippi Valley State.
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice.
Did you think I was going to get that one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that was fringe.
No, I threw it out there for the audience. Little known Jerry Rice fact. Taken in the first round by the 49ers. The Dallas Cowboys wanted him and were about to select him. The Cincinnati Bengals were selecting right before the Cowboys and made a trade before the buzzer went off. Traded down with the Niners. Niners jumped ahead of the Cowboys. That Jerry Rice-Michael Irvin combo never materialized.
How about that? And it changed history.
Absolutely. He was unbelievable. Montana,
Rice, Young and Rice. Here's a flag in on this return from Wilson. So we'll check on that. I did not know that story.
Yeah. Number 52, Rodney Chang, getting up a bit slowly. James Wilson just decided not to cut left or cut right. He's just going to go straight ahead. And Wilson's kind of coming over. You know what I find interesting? I saw it happen last night in the Texas-Iowa State game. That kid gets a head injury. Why are we patting him on the head? You know what I'm saying?
Make sure that helmet's still working.
Here's the play again. Wilson handing out the blow. Yes, that's the question. There's a hold on the play. Bring the ball back at the 20.
Our lead referee tonight is Kenan Lavelle. Don't call him Keenan. Kenan Lavelle. Made me promise I'd get that one right for him.
He did.
He did?
He emphasized that.
He said, it's only one E in Keenan. It's Kenan, not Keenan. I said, okay, I got it.
Tough sledding inside for Goose Creek. Really found a little bit more success on the outside pitch than they have between the tackles.
Dustin Ames with our Erica Scripper right now on the field.
All right, thanks, guys. So, yeah, Dustin Hayes from the Credit Union. Tell me a little bit about where you're from, and tell me about Goose Creek High School, the program they have, the student-run branch here.
Absolutely. So I'm Dustin Haynes. I'm the Public Relations Officer for Heritage Trust Federal Credit Union, and we actually have a student-run credit union branch inside of Goose Creek High School. So the student branch has actually been in operation for about 3 years. Goose Creek High School was actually the first high school to get a student-run credit union branch, and we currently have branches in Somerville High School, Stall High School, and Cane Bay High School as well.
Awesome. And tell me what the students are able to do during those open hours.
Absolutely. So the branches are only open during the lunch periods, but they're available to students, faculty, and staff. And during the lunch periods, faculty, teachers, and staff are able to come in and open an account with the credit union, and they're able to make deposits, withdrawals, and make loan payments.
Great. Well, Dustin, thanks so much for being here. We're happy to have you. We'll send it on back to you guys.
Very good.
Great to have a student-run, really anything this day and age. Get some experience.
Create some early life skills. I wonder if they charge for bounce checks.
Hopefully the kids aren't bouncing the checks yet. Major just tripped up. And it'll be third down and long.
Again, a little bit more success to the outside as they bounce that play to the outside. Well, you have an offense like this, really a lot of emphasis on those wide receivers being able to block. If somebody says you're a wide receiver at Goose Creek High School, you go, I just kind of block on the outside.
That was part of my conversation with Chris Kander last week, because they had spent, as a staff, as a program, months trying to get this offense where they wanted it. The up-tempo, the RPO, like Auburn, Clemson, a lot of schools are doing it. But it didn't work. So when you have to switch to the option, kids are going to have to bite their tongue a little bit and understand their role. And for it to have had so much success last week, 31 points on the board in the first half, never trailing, it gives them confidence that, look, this thing can work. As Oldham gets his Oldham, sticks his head in there, makes the play.
A little misdirection there by Goose Creek. I like the play. Oldham really sticking his nose in it. He and Dante Smith hook up for a little inside dance.
This one is a wobbler, shanked out of bounds. Where will it be spotted? At the 42.
Ashley Ridge had some nice pressure, putting some pressure on the kicker, Tony Jimenez.
Ashley Ridge picked up a fumble. Last time Goose Creek had it, that gave them their only good field position. Threw a strike down the middle that set up their field goal. As we crunch more numbers, brought to you by Heritage Trust Federal Credit Union. Trust is everything. Sam Hartman transferred down from Davidson up in the Charlotte area. He leads the area in passing, but this man who just handed off is up there in the top 4 as well. Ooh, Cunningham ganged up on. You see the flag down there as well.
Have you ever seen a swarm of bees? There's one bee, and then all of a sudden there's like 6 of them right on you. And that's exactly what the defense looked like right there. It was E.J. Edey made the first contact with Cunningham. There it is right there, and all of a sudden, watch. There's 2, 3, 4.
And they got a face mask in there, so it didn't look like Edey got a hand up there. Someone did.
It must have been an incidental. They only gave him just 5 yards from the spot. Replay first down.
Last week, Ashley Ridge lost to Somerville, a team that's rapidly improving. Defense actually played pretty well, but the offense didn't have the big plays and doesn't have it there either. Looking for Josh Linton. Time for our David Ayler Law Office Educator Spotlight, and when it's time for that, it means it's Erica Scrippa time.
All right, thanks, guys. So we're right here with the principal of Goose Creek High School, Shamika Washington. Thank you for being here.
Thank you all for coming.
We're happy to be here as well. And Shamika, tell me what it's like to have a televised game for your students, for your players, and for the staff as well.
It's awesome. Tonight's our homecoming night, so this is a great opportunity for our community to come out and you guys to see the great things that are happening at Goose Creek.
And tell me, what are some of those things going on? What are some programs, activities that you guys are working on?
Well, we are the home of the Berkeley Center for the Arts, so our dance programs are doing really well and our visual arts and our music programs. We're also one of the leaders as far as Heritage Trust Federal Credit Union goes. We have the largest credit union in schools, so we're doing great things.
That's incredible. Well, we're happy to be here, and we just want to give you a little thank you. Gonna have a little check for you. Thank you for hosting us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So this is for you.
Ooh, that's a big check. Thank y'all so much.
Absolutely.
Glad y'all are here.
It is. It's a very big check. It's also a big play. You can take it to the Heritage Trust Federal Credit Union. Every week, MyTV Charleston, ABC News 4, proud to present each participating homeschool that big check for $500. The grant provides each school extra funding to help make their school great. Congratulations from MyTV Charleston, ABC News 4, and Friday Night Rivals.
Really, any check's okay by me.
Absolutely.
A good check is actually better. There you see the speed of Cunningham. He gets to the open field really, really good.
And Ashley Ridge is having success on the ground because Duncan hasn't really been on target early on. There you go again. The speed of Cunningham bursting through got through the first wave, then turned on the jets through the second. A Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdown, 22 yards for Cunningham.
Saw something on the right side of their offensive line. Back-to-back plays. You see the screen blocks there, the pulling guard, and then Cunningham does the rest, breaking through the right side of that Gator defense. Again, open field, really, really good.
That cut that got him inside Edie was a big time plant and change of direction.
Yep. You were saying earlier that Western Kentucky coach was over on the sidelines for Ashley Ridge.
There is at least someone representing Western Kentucky who is here, yes. I would assume it's an assistant coach. I did not have a chance to speak with him, but he's all decked out in his Hilltopper gear.
That'll do.
And, of course, Matt's older brother, Duncan, is
Stephen Duncan.
Yeah, is up in Hilltopper land right now. Hasn't played yet this year.
Has not.
Redshirt freshman. So Ashley Ridge, which had negative rushing yards last week in their loss to Somerville, has used the ground game predominantly to put Goose Creek behind on the scoreboard for the first time in 2 weeks.
Well, Matt had the nice pass to Chavis on the previous drive, found him kind of on the inside seam. But then again, those back-to-back running plays by Cunningham picked him up probably 45 yards there in just 2 carries. We'll see how Goose Creek responds. And again, when you live by the run, you can die by the run.
It'll be about the adjustments that this offense can make. Kenny Walker was concerned that the big guys up front for Goose Creek could possibly push off his defensive line, but that really hasn't happened much. Wilson runs into his own guy there, Tavion Major. That slows his progress just outside the 20. That was Kenny Walker's main concern. Look, if their big hogs up front are pushing the defensive line back into the linebackers, then we're not going to be able to get Goose Creek off the field.
Right.
But I think Ashley Ridge's D-line has won that battle pretty consistently.
Yeah, aside from the one drive that Goose Creek turned into points, Ashley Ridge and their linebackers did a nice job. Created the one turnover that led to the touchdown.
Dijon Singleton. This is a play they haven't run in a couple of weeks, and it works out perfectly well. A juggling ball that is secured and caught there by the former defensive lineman L.J. Stanley for the first down. Plenty to cheer about there. On our Zaxby's fans cam, I wonder if that 3 on the Gators represents a relative of Kareem Lewis, who's playing well in the secondary.
Love the play call. Singleton had the option to run. He had 2 defenders in front of him. Found Tony inside.
Singleton tries to keep this one and is quickly wrapped. But that's the thing about the option. I mean, anyone who lives down here, you've seen the option enough if you're a football fan. Goose Creek was running it forever. Kane Bay at the high school ranks, the Citadel. Charleston Southern runs a somewhat of it.
Yep.
One of the staples of it is the ability to hit the big play. And if you can't throw effectively, if you don't have at least that threat, it drastically reduces the effectiveness of the option.
But you also got to be patient. You got to be true to the mission. And you got to wait for that big play that's going to bust open for 60 yards.
And this one is going backwards close to 60 yards. Lindbergh Ankrum has been all over the Gators in the backfield. They'll spot him down here at the 25. A 12-yard loss here for Ankrum.
Not sure what he was looking at or what he saw. Or maybe it almost looked like a busted play, didn't it, coming out?
Mm-hmm.
You can just tell by the reaction of Dante Smith. He wasn't quite sure where he was going or where he was headed.
Goose Creek finally had a full week of practice this week and last week to put the option in. They started the option 2 weeks ago against Somerville, but that was the hurricane-shortened week and had 2 days to install an option offense. So predictably, that didn't go very well. On the run, another completion. Singleton is 3 for 3 today.
Throws a nice ball.
He really does. That's Cameron Patton's second reception of the year.
It's going to still be 4th down, but he gets out of the pocket. Puts it right on the money. Nice tackle, open field tackle. Jay Hill. So again, last time Goose Creek punted, Ashley Ridge had a great push up the middle on the outside. Let's see what happens here.
And it was not a great punt either. This one's better. It's returnable as a low line drive if it gets the hop he's looking for, and it does right there for J.J. McAfee. He's looking at 10 Gators.
He did have, he had 10 Gators looking at him. He thought maybe I'll cut it across the field to the right, and he thought better of it.
Nope, there was nowhere to go.
He said the sidelines looks good. Looks good.
More Gators are over there. That's how you draw it up on special teams. Make sure everyone's down there, and McAfee had nowhere to go. That tells you our story. About halfway through this second quarter, Ashley Ridge has scored on its last 2 possessions, a 23-yard field goal, check it, a 37-yard field goal, and then the touchdown run for Cunningham. However, now they start back inside their own 20. Going to ride Cunningham as long as this is working well, and E.J. Eady cuts him down there. Form tackling right around the line of scrimmage.
I thought it was interesting. They went back to the right side, having their last 2 plays be so successful. Goose Creek kind of hemmed up the holes and kept them to a 1-yard loss.
Hard to believe with as strong as this Ashley Ridge program has become. They and Cane Bay both evolving well. I'm surprised they've never beaten Goose Creek. Oh, Anthon Williams has a hand on him. Can't bring down Duncan, who throws a strike, but out of the hands of Troy Chavis.
Credit Anthony Martin, defensive back, kind of getting a hand in. I don't know if he touched the ball, but he certainly may have distracted Chavis from catching it. But also that defensive line coming into play, putting a lot of pressure on Duncan.
I didn't realize Martin was flashing through the safety. That was a heck of a play by Duncan to move around those 2 big linemen, keep the head up.
Yep.
And then perfectly loft it over Anthony Martin. Still leads to a 3rd down and 11. And now maybe more.
And the other thing too is you look at this Ashley Ridge program, and they have not a popular call from the Goose Creek fan base or the coaches nearby.
Well, they got encroachment on Goose Creek and stopped the play prior to it starting. So if there was egregious encroachment in contact, and that would warrant that.
The one thing they've always had is they've had great skill people out on the field. But Kenny really talked about changing the culture this summer.
Says Matt Duncan's as tough as they come. He'll show you there as he takes on the safety Martin and gets close to the 1st down, but did he get it?
Him. He did.
Yeah, he sure did.
There would be no sliding for Matt Duncan. Martin with a couple nice plays in this particular series. But I don't think the wins and the losses really reflect of how good this program is.
When you talk to Kenny Walker, you got a sense that there is a toughness about this program as Darrell Spann comes in to put a helmet on the ball.
A heck of a tackle.
And if a team shows qualities of their head coach, then this team, Ashley Ridge, has to be tough. Walker's a Central Pennsylvania guy, wrestler, football player.
Well, the other thing they've got going for them, too, is they're young.
Over the middle, Chavis is grabbed, and there comes the flag. Darius Ford turned around Troy Chavis.
Offensive side of the ball, I think they lose 3 guys. 4 guys.
One senior on the offensive line.
They lose their receivers, Litton and Chavis and McAfee. To get Cunningham back, to get Proctor Floyd back, number 4. We really haven't seen him play much. tonight. But then the offensive line, just one senior, 2 sophomores, 2 juniors, and you like that balance as you move forward. And what Steve LaPrat told me when I saw him in the Fort Dorchester-Wando game, his concentration is offensive and defensive line. He goes, if I can get guys to block and tackle, we're going to do well. Now, it helps to have DeCarrion Joyner and some of the receivers and Raekwon Simmons. But they, against Wando that night and against probably most everybody, they're going to dominate the offensive line.
The Gators whistled for that. You see it there at the top of the screen before Jackson Pell got that snap off. The Gators aren't typically a highly penalized team. That's been actually one of their strengths, but a couple of offsides here on this possession have extended it for Ashley Ridge, and it leads to that first down run there for Cunningham.
Yeah, there wasn't anything fancy about that run either, by the way. That was straight ahead. In the middle of the field. I was surprised at the Ashley Ridge Somerville score last week. I talked to somebody who was at the game and really did say they lost that. Somerville just dominated the offense and defensive line, but this is a team that should have beat Boiling Springs. Should have been going to that Somerville game 4-0. Yeah, I thought to myself, that first quarter should have clipped along pretty quick, didn't it?
It did. It went along very quickly because we didn't have a lot of that yellow stuff. Not the Gators' pants, the extra yellow stuff. That's a false start on Ashley Ridge.
But I expect Ashley Ridge to be a playoff team that can win a game or two.
And you talk about their youth on offense. Defensively, even though they've got leaders who have come back on that side of the ball, only half of them are seniors. So they still have a lot of strength coming back on that side of the ball as well. First down and 15. Duncan slides up, delivers high. He wanted McAfee, who I believe was targeted there for the first time tonight. Leading receiver on the team who had over 100 yards last week.
Yeah, Julian Lawrence going to have to come off after losing his helmet. One thing I've been impressed with defensively tonight for Goose Creek is they don't mind hitting you.
No, not at all.
Same way last week?
Yeah, and I think that's other coaches in the area have respected this team even through their offensive struggles in the first couple of weeks, because it's not like it's an off day. You're going to get hit, and you're going to have to earn it. And the defense has also been getting better as the games have gone along. They've yet to allow a fourth quarter point in 4 games. That's Jerry Jenkins who strings down Cunningham.
Ashley Ridge is trying to get a little bit of that yard back, make it a manageable third down. They will make it about a 3rd and 10 after that penalty. And now the officials they wanted a measurement, not understanding that was actually the first.
the back of the sticks.
That was the back of the sticks. Right, he called for the sticks. They're like, no, it's still 3rd and 11. 3rd and
the
10 and a
one.
half.
It's the one down there, guys.
I don't think you can measure that with your arms, by the way. Nice pressure.
Duncan, Williams caused that short throw, and it is picked off. E.J. Eady having himself a game, isn't he?
He is.
That all started with the pressure from Anthon Williams. Got around the legs there of Matt Duncan. Couldn't get anything on this throw. It's the Gators' 3rd pick of the year. They've got it down by 7. Creek gets that turnover back. They had fumbled earlier in the first half, and they get it back on Duncan's interception. Into the arms of E.J. Eady. So can the Gators put up some points here and capitalize on the turnover? Well, first they're going to have to back up 5 more yards.
Again, this is not an offense that can, well, there looks to be offsides or encroachment on Ashley Ridge.
Wow, that's about the 3rd one in the last 2 drives.
Right. Now, my original theory is this is not an offense that can afford to be 1st and 15. This can be an offense that can go 1st and 5.
Anything for these option teams to stay on schedule.
I'm wondering if I'd love to be inside the offensive coordinator's head right now, because I wonder if he's going to throw the ball a little more.
Well, that one is caught. A diving grab by Ombre Kennedy. And he's going to steal that interception back from Matt Duncan. What a play there for Kennedy.
Karan Suber was the wide receiver. At that point, seemed to kind of give up on the route a little bit. But at that point, you got to play defender. You got to do whatever it takes. He lays the ball out nicely.
It's telling in that shot, however, that as Ombre Kennedy goes laying out, you can't even see Suber. There was obviously some contact there on the route, and I agree. I think Suber got knocked off his route a little bit and then kind of wondered where the ball was, and it was too late. Swamp Foxes now have an opportunity to score going into the half and then get the ball coming out of the half. And on Saturdays, I work with a guy named Trey Essex for some of the college work. He played for the Steelers, won a couple of Super Bowls with them.
Whoa.
He's about the size of you, me, and some of those guys out on the field combined.
Yeah.
He's the man.
Right.
He, when he was out with, I want to say the Colts, one of the coaches out there harped that if you could score going into the half and then score first coming out of the half, your chances of winning increase by about 80%.
That would make sense, doesn't it?
It does. Makes a lot of sense. Now, Trey doesn't have any actual numbers to back that up, but he liked the
sounded good.
Liked the theory. It sounded good, and so we use it.
Well, it's an automatic, at least a 14-point swing. The
right.
Patriots do that very well, by the way.
They do.
They do a lot of things really well.
They video very well.
They do.
Compromising spots.
They do. So watch what we've got here. We've got 3 receivers on the near side. Let's see what they do with them here.
Cunningham has been the story. The junior, who's averaged 5 yards a carry on the year, has really been the key to this offense for Ashley Ridge. That's Duncan for about 5.
The thing that Kenny had told me about, and I hated asking the question about, you compare brothers, right? It's just not a good thing to do. But since both of them played quarterback and both of them played here, I had to ask the question. And he thought, just on a physical standpoint, that Matt was a little bit ahead of Steven. Velocity-wise, throws the ball a little bit better than him.
2nd and about 6. That's what you're looking at, and it was almost picked by Eady.
Threw it behind him a little bit.
Him and McAfee just haven't been on the same page yet.
I think Eady was surprised it landed in his arms. Right? Just a little bit behind the receiver.
Well, did Steven play as a freshman as well? I
No.
think it took him.
He transferred out.
That's right.
With the
Porter Goud, I believe.
and transferred back here.
Mm-hmm. Here's Matt, a design draw with Cunningham leading the way. He'll slide for that first down. And that's important now with these first downs, stopping the clock. They still have their full array of timeouts.
So that's 3 positive pickups on that particular draw play. 2 on this series, 1 in the last. Keep an eye on the clock, and they've got 3 timeouts to work with, so this is very manageable.
Especially if Duncan and McAfee can get on the same page, if they can hit something. Well, Duncan's going to take a shot, but he's looking for Chavis instead. 2nd down and 10 here with 1:30 left in the half.
You see the arm strength right there. That ball wasn't a lot of air under that ball. That thing was thrown on a line about 50 yards. And again, I think what the scouts like about him is, just his release point and the way he delivers the ball. Again, it's very short, it's very compact. Doesn't drop the ball down to his waist, almost like a pitcher. He gets rid of it quick.
Whoop. In the slot, you can see hands to the head. Yes, sir. We got you, DeMar Proctor-Floyd.
I like that, by the way. Whoops. He
like,
knew
that's
it
my
too,
Chris
didn't he?
Berman for you.
Yeah. You see him in the top. Yeah. Gonna back him up 5. That was funny.
Talking with Kenny Walker today, he said the offseason has helped Matt Duncan, and now this, we're halfway through the season here, but the arm strength is getting better. The next big leap he needs to take is getting through his progressions, his reads a little bit faster. And that will come with time and reps. It's the only way that comes. Play fake here. Duncan under pressure, as he has been a lot of this night. And now you've got the penalty and the incompletion, and you're looking at 3rd and 15 here with the clock stopped.
You know what also helps with being able to go through your progressions, whether it's receiver, and then your out guy, many times your running back. You got to have time to do that. And as that sophomore, junior on the offensive line put another year on him, then all of a sudden you have that extra 2 seconds back there where you're able to go through that and you find your open man. Because on that play right there, he had Cunningham coming out of the backfield.
Ashley Ridge will take the time out here to figure out this 3rd and 15 play. But yeah, that's been part of the Achilles heel of this offense this year. And you're seeing it quite clearly tonight. The lack of the big play when they need it. He said that's just been the most frustrating thing. And it's not one play here, one play there. It's consistently when you just need that guy to just make that play, pick up that first down. And it hasn't been happening for him as well, as often as he would have hoped. Stratford, in some ways you could say that's hanging with Fort Dorchester, only down 28 in the second quarter. And Somerville putting it on West Ashley. I like this Somerville team. I think they're going to go far, and I think Somerville Fort Dorchester later in the year will be something I would pay to go see, and it's rare that I pay to go see anything these days.
Because your press pass works so well, or because you'd rather stay home with your kid and your lovely wife?
Oh, do I have a great story about my lovely wife and a press pass. And not coincidentally, it also involves the green wave. Oof. That ball was read and picked.
Wow.
Jumped the route. Who is it? Lawrence? Yep. Second pick in as many weeks. And second pick in as many drives here for this Gator defense.
Watch how he positions himself almost like blocking out somebody underneath the basket in basketball. And then McAfee does a nice job of trying to get that ball loose, does for a moment, but Lawrence comes up with it. Really does position his body very well and then holds on to the ball. I was wondering, coming out of that timeout, you going to play it safe, punt the ball, hold the Gators to 3 and out, and you go to the halftime up 10-3, or you let it rip? Well, they let it rip, and now Goose Creek's in a position with 1:16 and 2 timeouts. They can get some plus yardage here.
I like the attempt because right now Ashley Ridge isn't too scared of this Goose Creek offense. They haven't put up these chunk plays. Singleton going backwards. There is a man in the area, and it's caught.
Okay.
Second of the day here for Patton.
I love it. First of all, I love the fact that he's able to kind of move around the rush, avoid the sack, and then he absolutely just lets her fly from the far hash, right?
It looked like he was just trying to throw it away. But
it looked like he stepped with the wrong foot, too.
It also looks like a 9-yard gain.
And that's awesome. 1:08 on the clock.
Singleton 4 for 4.
By the way, that's 5'7", 150.
Getting chased from the backside. Now he's picked off. That one to Najee Hill. And now the Swamp Foxes, with 2 of their timeouts, are in excellent position to strike.
Well, that's 4 straight possessions with a turnover. All 4 interceptions here. Nice job by Hill to jump that route. Then went back to the well one too many times with a running quarterback. I think when we were at Ashley Ridge, we called it County Ashley Ridge, I believe, Nick Case can probably verify this. I think we had 5 straight plays where there was a turnover. Not 5 straight series, but I believe it was 4 or 5 straight plays.
It was a game I did with you. But it wasn't the Ashley Ridge game because I remember doing it.
Okay. I believe you. You're 30 years younger. You should remember.
Duncan pulls it down, then elects to fire, and that'll stop the clock when it chooses to stop. There you go, 54.5 seconds.
Also important to point out, coming into this game, in 5 games, Cane Bay, Boiling Springs, Colleton, West Ashley, Somerville, I believe Duncan had just 1 interception. And he has doubled that total tonight.
It's the Berkeley-Stratford game, our turnover fest.
Yes.
But yeah, Duncan,
Nick
to your
was on
point,
the case. Good work, Nick.
I believe his website is Case in Point. Do I have that right? Yes. Nick Case, Case in Point Sports.
Oof.
There's Duncan. The dangerous ball is caught. Chavis and Duncan finally hook up, this time from 37. The ball took forever to get to Chavis and hung up. But it still slides through for a Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdown.
Yeah, he got the left side into that throw and just let her rip. I really thought that, I think that's Tyler Ravenel he didn't know whether to, he lost sight of the ball. I thought he had a beat on the ball. He was going to go after it, but he let the receiver come into the play.
Swamp Foxes get a break. They throw the pick, trying to move down the field for a score before the half, then get the pick back and score. Lazik, yeah, just kept that one inside the upright for a 17-3 lead. All right, so while we have a chance of getting to this story, I mentioned I would go pay to watch Somerville Fort Dorchester.
Yes.
Years and years ago, when Ryan Nelson was the creator, producer, and host of Low Country Live on the sister station of this channel here on ABC News 4.
Yes.
My lovely wife created it, produced it, hosted it. A lot of good people were involved in that. And obviously it's still on the air today. At the time, I was working for the ESPN radio affiliate, and I was the Citadel play-by-play guy. I wasn't even the #1 guy. So I was Bobby Harton's co-host and producer, and Citadel baseball play-by-play here and there. But I had a business card that said I worked at ESPN Radio Charleston, and Somerville had a football game. This is when we were dating. We were not yet married. So we decided to go out to this game, me, of course, bragging, we don't need tickets. We can walk in anywhere. So
where'd you go?
Somerville. And it was a big game. I think it was a Stratford game.
Okay.
And you're talking 10, 12 years ago, so it was a big deal out there. My business card did not work to get us in the stadium at all. But you know what did? Ryan Nelson's press pass, and she got us in.
She let you live that down? Let me just say, no, she hasn't.
No. I mean, it's still fresh in my mind, so I've probably heard the story a few times. Here's Wilson. So they've got 2 timeouts, 42 seconds to work with, and a passing game that has been struggling since they went to this option.
Well, I mean, he completed his first 3, had a nice completion from hash mark to far sidelines. Just, at that point, he got the ball at the 50, and they tried to run it a couple of times, but he wanted to keep letting it rip.
Wonder if.
The problem was that Ashley Ridge made him pay.
And now they'll have to do the same. Don't want to be down 2 scores here. Here's Dante Smith leading the way for the guy who started the year under center for the Gators, Tavion Major.
I like the physical play. This team is, and again, you go back and look at the stats of the first 3 games, and you're thinking, oh my goodness. But they play hard.
And that's something Chris Candor says without hesitation. He said, my guys are playing hard. They're giving it what they've got. Look at that cut there from Major, who lowers his shoulder into the secondary and does have that first down. Avion Dennis is the one who took that charge from Major.
It's Major in the backfield, clapping, getting everybody jacked up.
But the clock starts now,
and
they're
seconds.
huddled.
They're 2 timeouts.
They'll be lucky just to even run a simple play here. Are they even set? Maybe. Horn sounds as this ball is in play, and Goose Creek probably could have gotten a little more out of the final few seconds of that first half. But as it stands, the Gators, after an opening field goal, outscored 17-0 down the stretch. A Matt Duncan touchdown pass, a 22-yard run from Cunningham, and a boot from 37 has them on top 17-3. Coming up, it's the Zaxby's halftime show. I know you're going to stick around. We are. Zaxby's halftime show kicking off with Kenny Walker kicking it off with Erica Scrippa down on the field.
I did the last one.
All right, thanks, guys. On the field right now with Ashley Ridge, head coach Kenny Walker. Thanks for being here.
It's another great night for Friday Night Football rivals, and we're excited to be on TV. Our kids enjoy it, so hopefully we can finish off the second half the way we did in the first half.
A little slow on offense, but your sophomore quarterback has really had some awesome plays.
Yeah, I think he was a little pumped up early, kind of overthrew some guys that were open, but he settled in, and we're able to get behind him a little bit and some things we want to do. So, hopefully he settled into the game well, and we can take advantage of that in the second half.
Have you been surprised at all by Goose Creek's defense?
Yeah, I mean, they're playing the run really well. They fit well. They're well coached. Their defense is pretty much ours. We run the same stuff. So, they're doing a good job with the running game. But we got to take advantages with the passing game. So hopefully we can do that in the second half.
What do you have to do to make it your second F&R win?
Just kind of move the chains, and our defense has played really great the first half, and hopefully we can continue to do that. Get our offense on the field and get our defense on the sideline. So if we can do that, we'll be able to come out with a win.
All right, thanks so much, Coach. Best of luck in the next half. All right, guys, I'll send it on back to you.
Great job, Erica. Each week, Zaxby gives you a chance to win some free food. Just text chicken to 44332, your chance to win $100 worth of delicious Zaxby's, and don't we all want that?
Yeah, right now.
Each week, David Taylor Law Office is proud to highlight scholar athletes from each participating school. These two are going to have an opportunity to win a $5,000 scholarship at the end of the year. That young man is Jackson Price. He's on the football team and the baseball team, and he's got a GPA of 4.2.
It's good.
He looks like a very happy guy. Rodney Oldham, GPA over 4 as well. Oldham had 20 tackles last week. He's also a standout on the track and field team here or over there at Ashley Ridge. All right, so that's the David Taylor Law Office's scholar athletes. These two will have a chance to win a $5,000 scholarship at the end of the year. and those were your two. Let's hear more from David Ayler.
All right, thanks, guys. Here with David Ayler, making me look bad with this suit. You're very nicely dressed today. Well, you're welcome. So first of all, tell me a little bit about you. Why are you invested in local high school sports?
Well, I think local high school sports is really a starting point for a lot of individuals, really sort of making their true character. You go through so much with all the rules and the self-discipline, the healthy eating, all these habits that go way beyond high school into your adulthood. So it's a really good starting point, and we're just happy to be involved.
Now, you are very involved. Talk about the scholarship itself.
We've got a great scholarship. So each week, both teams be able to present one person as a representative from their high school. And then once the season is ended, we look at all of them for several different factors, what they do in school, what they do out of school, and we choose a scholarship winner.
Now, for you, had you been in this point, would you have been eligible for the scholarship? Were you an athlete in high school?
I was not an athlete in high school. Okay. I tried to be one starting out in high school and quickly transitioned from baseball. Couldn't get to first base fast enough into music. So I would have been one in the crowd watching the game.
Yeah, probably me too. I called myself an athlete just because I played sports, but wasn't a whole lot of PT anyway.
Right, exactly.
So probably kind of in the same boat.
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, David Ayler, we appreciate it. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, so that's the latest from here. We'll send it on back to the game.
Brody doesn't need to thank people for talking to him. Everybody wants to talk to Brody Hart. 17-3, more of our Zaxby's halftime show when we get you back. Show. At the Zaxby's halftime show, let Zaxby's cater your next tailgate with your favorites like chicken fingers, platter, or the salad bar. Visit Zaxby's.com for a full menu and to find a location near you. Tonight's trophy that will go to the winning team in the trophy case, I'm sure surrounded by wonderful accoutrements to make it look awesome. It already does because of All-American Awards in Mount Pleasant. They've been in business for over 20 years, and they're your source for corporate sports awards. Remember All-American Awards when you recognize excellence.
The Willie Gray Opportunity School is a 14-week GED military-style program. We are a state-funded agency offered to students at no cost. We give students the structure they need, the education they need, and the skills they need to become successful adults. Being involved in the Friday Night Rivals gives us an opportunity to have outreach in the Low Country and also help support the high school athletes in the Charleston area.
Oh, Dean, here it is. Our favorite segment. We're in Chattanooga here for highlights of Friday Night Rivals all around the country.
You know what you call that, don't you? Chattanooga choo-choo. Get out of my way.
Slippery. slippery. Is he going to get tackled? Oh.
No, are you kidding me?
He gave him a high five.
You wanted to hold his hand.
Still no Charleston highlights.
Oh, San Antonio, sure, home of Shaq. Home of some of the great restaurants.
Oh.
No. Bad plan. And then he just steps over him. Let go of his leg, young man.
Oh, man. He almost just caught that one right off his foot. Same team here, huh?
I've never seen anybody block a punt with their entire body.
All right, back to Nashville we go. And are we going to get a block here or a cut? Whoop!
Oh, you know, the kids love breaking people's ankles, but that looked more like a wipeout in like a snowboard game. I don't think that was really an ankle breaker.
Yeah, feet just slid out from under him almost. Ooh, nice play.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if Ohio State's got his number.
Conway here. Myrtle Beach, we're getting closer to Charleston.
Uh-oh. That was 4 deep.
Uh-oh.
That was 4 deep. He's got a line of blockers. He's directing traffic.
And he's not going to get touched. Just like they tell you to do early in the game when you pick it off 4 yards deep in the end zone, go.
Do we have any?
Do
we have any all-turf fields?
That's a sharp-looking one.
Do we have any of those?
I'm not sure if we have one in this area.
I don't think we do.
Meanwhile, corporate, we still have not had a Charleston highlight in the highlights around the country. I'm going to keep going at this. It's halftime, and we have more. What we do have is the cheerleader competition, so you can be interactive with us when we get you back.
I got Steve Mann's email.
We're just going to email Steve Mann. Need a little more. We always need more Darren and Dean.
Yeah.
You can have more Darren and Dean by just hanging around. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Our Zaxby's halftime show continues. Zaxby's is going to cater your next tailgate with your favorites like the chicken fingers platter or the salad bar. Visit Zaxby's.com for a full menu and to find a location near you. Get interactive with us right now. It's time for our cheer competition. If you like the home cheer, text cheer A. The road cheer, text cheer B to 44332. from around the low country here. It was 28-0 in the second quarter, and I said at the time, it's like Stratford's hanging with Fort Dorchester. Well, then in the rest of the second quarter, that's not true anymore. They've almost got 50 at the half. Somerville's got West Ashley's number at the half, and same story, Wando over at James Island. All right, if you want to text that cheer competition, we told you how to do it. Cheer A if you like the Goose Creek cheer to 44332. Cheer B if you like the Ashley Ridge cheer to 44332. We'll give you the results later on in the show. The home team typically wins this. So if you're watching from Ashley Ridge, vote. Just get up your cell phone. It's within inches of you right now as you're seated, I'm sure. Vote. Cheer A, cheer B, 44332. 17-3 is the score, and the second half is on the way. Last year, the Swamp Foxes came closer than they've ever come to knocking off Goose Creek. They lost by a point. The all-time series stands Gators 5, Ashley Ridge 0. So they are halfway to accomplishing that goal, and in the process, Ashley Ridge would bump their record in region play up to 2-1 and get a couple of games over 500 in the regular season as well. So there's a lot at stake here for Goose Creek. It's a team that couldn't get on track offensively in the first 3 weeks of the season. Finally did so last week for their first win of the year, almost doubling their offensive output in the first 3 games last week alone. And it'll be Ashley Ridge that'll get the ball first here in this second half. So this Goose Creek defense will be challenged here early, and I think what it'll take, Dean, the defense needs to make a play and put the offense in position, not just come up with a turnover and, you know, well behind the 50, but got to make a play.
Yep. They came up with a couple turnovers in the first half, but I think really the biggest difference, the 3 turnovers by the Goose Creek offense, 1 on a fumble, 2 on the interceptions. It'll be interesting to see. And again, you're right. Defensively, they've got to be able to make a play, maybe even put some points on the board. You talk about, you know, success on a football field. If you can get all 3 aspects of the game to score a touchdown, special teams, offense, defense. I don't know what your color guy would tell you in college football, but I would say the odds are pretty high, 73.9%.
I think
that
so.
You probably would win the game if you can get all three to score. So defensively, they've got to be able to take a turnover and get some points off of it. And I think without question, they've got to stop Ashley Ridge. They cannot give up points on this very first drive.
The story for Ashley Ridge this year has been really Matt Duncan, just a sophomore, but a big arm and obviously good lineage. His brother is up at Western Kentucky as a redshirt freshman right now, and Matt has a chance to be as good, if not better, than his brother. But Duncan tonight has been under constant pressure. He's thrown one touchdown pass. He's been on his back a lot, and Nick Cunningham and the rushing attack of the Swamp Foxes and Duncan as well. He's been a big part of the ground game there in the first half.
Well, really, you take a look at this offense. It was back-to-back plays, almost identical, that led to this touchdown. Defensively, this sack, I mean, not a sack, but the pressure really led to that interception. I mean, he wasn't in a strong position to throw the ball. And Goose Creek, they'd gone to the well, I think, one too many times. But again, you see the arm strength there by Matt. It was a little bit thrown behind the guy. And then again, another turnover right here, and this is the one that really hurt him, late, that led to the touchdown. But it's funny how quick a game can turn.
And there have been opportunities throughout that second quarter for the game to turn. But in the end, Ashley Ridge was able to secure that 14-point lead at the half. Chris Kander is with our Erica Scrippa.
All right, guys, thanks so much. On the field right now with Goose Creek head coach Chris Kander. And defense played so well. How did they take that touchdown at the end there?
Yeah, that one hurts. That's a mistake on us on the offensive side of the ball and on me. It's a poor call. And we played well, but we're not a good enough team to overcome penalties and mistakes. We've had too many penalties in the first half, too many turnovers, and we got to clean things up to give ourselves a chance. We're not out of it yet. I mean, I hope we're going to keep on fighting. Hopefully the kids will play with heart in the second half, and, that's tough. I mean, that's a tough one at the end of the half. That's like a punch right in the gut. So, we'll keep on fighting. Hopefully we can get something good happen to us like we had last week and change the momentum and see if we can't get this thing turned around the second half.
And offensively, are you going to keep passing?
Well, I mean, we're very limited in what we can do offensively. So, we're going to try to run the football, try to keep it simple, try to keep the quarterback from making mistakes and so forth. And, he's inexperienced, he's a young guy, and so we're going to try to run the ball. We got to establish the run, and when we feel like we have an opportunity, and then we'll let one go.
All right, Coach, thanks so much. Best of luck in the next half. We'll send it back to you guys in the booth.
Thank you.
Thanks, Erica. I saw a funny comment today as Chris tried to answer the best he could without giving away his game plan. John Fox, the Bears coach, is under...
Is he still the Bears coach?
Yes, he is. But if he doesn't make a change at quarterback, I don't know how long this is going to last. Mike Lennon has been struggling, to say the least. And the number 2 overall draft pick, Trubisky, has not played. So in his press conference today, John Fox was asked if he would make a switch at quarterback. His answer was all over the globe, and someone asked him to clarify. A reporter asked him, can you clarify that answer? He said, no, that's kind of the point. I'm not trying to be clear.
Right.
I like it. Honesty, right? I mean, you don't need to tell us everything.
Absolutely.
All right, a couple of first-half stats here for you. The Gators were outrushed by the Swamp Foxes, who I remind you had negative yards rushing in last week's loss to Somerville. But they picked up 68 yards to the 36 for the Gators. Passing-wise, 61 yards for the Swamp Foxes, 37 for the Gators. So overall, Ashley Ridge outgained Goose Creek 129-73, holding the Gators to just over 2 yards per play. And Coach Kander pointed out the penalties. Typically, they're a good team. They're penalized less than 5 times a game. 6 in the first half. Yeah.
We'll also think that 68 yards rushing, I think 40 came on those 2 plays by Nick Cunningham. So it was a pretty clean first quarter, and then it got really sloppy in the second quarter. We'll see how it takes off from here.
Underway with Dean Stevens, some Darren Goldwater, and this is Linton, who trips and stumbles and falls headlong just shy of the 30.
Again, Kenny Walker, I think, is going to want to see if he can find a little time for his quarterback and try to open this thing up a little bit. Again, a score to make it a 24-3 game on an offense that is struggling to find its footing and finding turbulence through the air would almost be a death nail here.
With the success they had on the ground, that's essentially a running play, a quick hitter to the outside, and now there's a lot of running room. J.J. McAfee is caught. Just when I thought he'd explode away, Edey caught him.
I don't think he had a catch in the first half, did he?
He didn't. He was targeted, I believe, twice. And that's a guy who has prospects at the next level.
Yeah, one was the interception, and one I think was thrown behind him. So what they do right there, you have problems protecting your quarterback, so what do? You give him a one-step drop and a quick out to the best receiver on the field and do it again.
And that's the exact same play. Look at Cunningham get out of the backfield and block downfield along with the left tackle, Tyler Kraft. 5 more yards.
Almost as if they're trying to pick up the pace here a little bit. And I don't know if this means anything at all. Ashley Ridge was out here with about 4 minutes left to go in the half, or during halftime. Goose Creek literally walked out with no time on that clock.
They didn't warm up, did they?
They did not.
I thought I was seeing something, but not seeing that. Cunningham eludes Williams, but isn't able to get away from Span, I believe.
Anthon Williams broke into the backfield and really created chaos on that play. No, you saw that correctly.
Goose Creek isn't as deep as they had been in the past in those great years under Chuck Reedy. So the depth isn't there. The overall numbers are, I mean, there was a time this team would get off the bus and you're looking at a roster with 90 guys on it.
Yeah, it was, by the way, it wasn't a bus. It was the 4 buses.
Yes. So maybe that played into Chris Kander's thinking, keep him a little bit more fresh. 3rd time they've run this hitter out to J.J. McAfee, trying to get him and Duncan going.
Going to
and that'll
spot
get
him
him very
short.
close to the first down.
Probably 2 yards short.
Text Subway to 44332. That is Subway to 44332. You can win $500. A cash card to Subway. All you got to do is text that number. Subway for a Year contest. The winner will be notified October 30th.
Josh Sarrow coming in. See him kind of on the left side now. Good blocking back.
And he pulls around to lead the way for Cunningham, who gets stuck by Anthony Martin. That's a big hit up to the safety
really
spot.
Close. I talk about left foot, right foot all the time. If you spot it with your left foot, it's going to be short. You spot it with your right, it's going to be good. And they stopped him.
How about that?
What a huge, huge defensive play.
Look at this hit.
Was that Lawrence that came in and made the play, or was
Martin,
it Edey?
Martin, number 9.
Tell you what.
It's a big
really,
play right there.
Really impressed with that defense.
The last thing Goose Creek needed for an offense that had, what, 1 or 2 big plays, otherwise struggled to move the football. You fall down 3 scores, and you're in a world of hurt here. So as it stands, first possession of this half, it's Dante Smith. And Smith is knocked down at the last moment by Estep.
Left side of the line did a great job right there. Now watch Goose Creek try to line up quickly. Well, they've got a Tavian Major coming into the game. Singleton gets the plays off the sidelines, interestingly enough, and then runs back in. Doesn't take long. They just go run the ball. And then he looks at his teammates and go, we're going to run the ball.
But you don't see it that often. And actually last week, both quarterbacks were getting the signal that way. And you think about how much extra he's going to run.
Well, we look at it like that because we're older.
Right. But, I mean, come on. Big hole opened up for Tavian Martin. Martin with help downfield is bumped out of bounds by Najee Hill, who saves a touchdown at the 25.
Remember the second quarter I was talking about? You keep running it, and you're patient until you run it all the way to Zaxby's.
36-yard run. And the Zaxby's fans, Cam, is loving it. For the former quarterback here, Tavian Major. And the reason Major isn't still the quarterback, he just doesn't have as much experience in the option. Now Smith is the deep back, and the first man through, Butcher, spins him backwards after a loss of 2.
Butcher with 69 tackles on the year. See why right there. Also go back to that long run play. Dante Smith really busting it down the sidelines to try to get that last and final block to spring him. You watch Smith right here. He's behind the play. And he comes in. He just can't get his head around number 33, Hill, to spring him. Oh.
Michael Curtis late running out. I don't think he was set, but here come the flags. Nothing about that looked very smooth.
No, that's almost a situation where the coaches are going to know that there's going to be a penalty on that play. You can't afford to go back 5. I would have called a timeout right then just because something was lost in translation on the sidelines.
And it'll be back-to-back plays that move them backwards. The tackle for loss and now that penalty. You know, I asked this officiating crew before the game if they're Charleston-based. They only work games in Charleston.
Right.
And Ken and Lavelle right there. He laughed. He said, well, the rule is it's supposed to be a 75-mile radius from your house. He said, but when you're in the Charleston area, there's not much in the 75-mile radius.
Right.
So they do games all around the state. That surprised me.
There's a lot of football being played around the state tonight.
Yeah, and good football.
See if they're going to throw the ball on second and a whole bunch.
Need to get down to the 15, and the answer to that question is no, but they'll pick up about what they lost on the penalty there with Major, maybe a little bit more.
I like getting Singleton outside of the pocket, give him an opportunity to run the ball. Now, you said last week the kicker for Goose Creek barely squeaked over a 35-yarder.
That's right.
So they'd have to get on to about the 18-yard line.
Right. This could be 4-down territory if this play can pick up some yards. And I think it makes it a pretty tough decision here because it'll be 4th down and about 7 or 8.
No, 12.
Well, yeah.
So they've got to get down to about the 15 right now. But it looks like.
Where will they spot it? Yeah.
I know it's 15 yards, 20 yards, right? I'm going to try to pin them inside the 10. I'm not going to give Duncan an extra, in that offense and the ability to strike quick. I'm not going to give him an extra 20 yards.
Amaru Shepard is now the deep back, first time in the game. He missed a block, so a free man Oldham can't bring down Singleton, but he does force him to curve his way out of bounds, and the Swamp Foxes will take over outside of the 20.
A missed block, I think, held up that play a little bit.
This
that
is not,
Singleton limping off about the 10, 15, 18-yard line coming over right now. I think 21 right there, missed the block right there. You get that block, you almost got the corner sealed off. That was Amuri Shepard. And now you took a look at Singleton. He's going to go over. They're going to put him up on the bench. And
here's Cunningham churning up the yards. James Wilson, the bandit, wraps the ankles, a pickup of 3.
Goose Creek training staff not wrapping the ankle, but looking the ankle of Singleton right now. Again, if this is a situation, then they'll turn to Major.
I would assume so. I don't know. I can't say for certain. But he's the one that has other experience at quarterback for the Gators this year. Meanwhile, they're just trying to get the ball back, and so far so good. It'll be 3rd down and long, and Singleton looks like he's all right.
Singleton found a little bit of adrenaline over there, went and talked to some of his teammates. Now he's trying to jog it off a bit. Again, that Goose Creek defensive line taking care of the Ashley Ridge offensive line. And that was one of the recipes for success. They really had to dig that trench for the Ashley Ridge offensive line to get that running game going.
If you would have told me that Ashley Ridge would be outgaining Goose Creek on the ground at this point, I would have told you you're crazy. Ow! Williams, like he was angry at Duncan. Didn't even tackle him, just shoves him down.
He had 2 receivers on the right side. He had Chavis going deep, and then he had Litton kind of cutting underneath, but neither were open, so call it a coverage sack if you like, but it wasn't even a sack, was it? Was it more like a push?
It looked like he was just angry. That's what you want, though. You want your defenseman to play angry. They almost get to that punt, which will take an Ashley Ridge roll, but still give Goose Creek good field position. So going for it for Goose Creek on 4th down didn't hurt him at all. Both teams have turned it over on downs in this quarter. Now Ashley Ridge has also punted. Defense is winning this second half thus far in your Friday Night Rivals game driven by Low Country Chevy Dealers. See if Goose Creek can march on down the field like they did prior to turning it over on downs. Only other time they had it in this quarter. And Dijon Singleton is, in fact, back out there with his regular stable of backs, Smith and Major.
I like the quick hit up the middle with Smith. I think the other thing to look at, we'll talk about it in a minute.
It's Major. Big hole. That line just parted the seas. And it's Najee Hill who makes the play. We're going to crunch some numbers.
Let's do it.
Heritage Trust, Federal Credit Union. Trust is everything. Here are your receiving leaders. 8 and 9 are in this game. J.J. McAfee just getting a couple of touches here in this half. Chavis already with a touchdown reception today. And their quarterback, Matt Duncan, is top 5 in low country passing. By the way, those stats courtesy of the Post and Courier and one David Shelton. And if you're watching this and wondering, well, my son or team has better stats than are on the screen, they're constantly asking for emails and stats and updates.
Right.
So,
because you know what's interesting about that is people don't really understand that the media, while we are accused of being fake sometimes, for sure we do not have a crystal ball.
We don't, but we do the best we can to,
yes,
especially with high school football, there are games all over the place.
Big 3rd and 2 here.
And it's going to be Major, who's hit in the backfield and unable to get the necessary yardage. Nathan Estep is the one who finished him off. We're going to go down to the sidelines, a David Ayler Law Office Educator Spotlight with Erica Scrippa.
All right, thanks, guys. We're here right now with Ashley Ridge Principal Karen Radcliffe. Karen, thanks so much for being here.
No, thanks for having us again.
And yeah, so second game here on Friday Night Rivals. You guys are playing pretty well. What's it like getting the students to come out on the road?
You know, it's hard, especially tonight with the weather. It was a little rainy, so a lot of them kind of shied away. So it's a little sparse tonight, but the boys love to play in front of the bright lights.
Yeah, I'm still hearing a lot of screams over there. Still got some energy. And tell me what you have going on over at Ashley Ridge. Any programs, anything exciting?
You know, it's another busy week. We're getting ready to have a big farm-to-table dinner and extravaganza next week on Tuesday. We've got a group coming in, and we're showcasing some different lettuces. So another good week at Ashley Ridge, something new and different.
That sounds like fun. Well, thanks so much for being here. We're happy to have you, and I'll send it on back to you guys.
What did she say? There were
different lettuces.
Different lettuces.
Is that like Scrippa? I may need your help on this. What do we got? We got romaine. We got little
romaine,
iceberg.
arugula, kale.
Hey, all varieties. We're doing something with hydroponics.
Hey.
That sounds fun. I want to get in on that. I love me a good salad.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you watch Friday Night Rivals, and you get educated on lettuce.
You get some nutritional advice. And somebody gave advice to Chris Cantor, said, let's not go for it on 4th and 2, because I thought for a minute they were going to line up, took a timeout, and they come back and punt formation.
Yeah, and they're going to get the first down. Ashley Ridge was just tagged with an unsportsmanlike. I didn't see a thing. It may have been against the side. The flag itself was basically up against the Ashley Ridge sideline.
Was it a sideline violation?
Well, if it was, it would have had to have been the second to get penalized.
I don't know how.
Because the violation is just a warning.
Maybe Nick, just in case, had a camera just right on that. Doubtful. That was bizarre.
That was odd.
Mark that down as a turning point at 3:16 in the third.
Marked.
See if they can take advantage of it here.
3:16 third quarter. Singleton with the fake pitch. Suddenly that ankle looks pretty good. Ombre Kennedy wraps those ankles.
I don't know. He is a little wobbly. And to add insult to injury, he's got to come over to the sideline to get the play. I think his offensive line should just pick him up and cart him on over.
Or run the play in with somebody else. But again, that's the problem when you're dealing with a inexperienced quarterback, an offense that's not completely familiar. They want to make sure that the exact play is relayed in correctly. Keith Johnson's the offensive coordinator. Chris Collins helps him out a little bit. Look at that burst of speed. He was almost at full speed as he took that handoff.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, it enables him to have, what, about 2 yards to go here on third?
Yep.
Davion Major.
5'11", 170, but you're right. Those first couple steps really quick through the hole.
It's been one of their more effective plays as they've gone somewhat away from Dante Smith. Straight up the middle here with Tavion Major. 90 yards and a score last week. Here he is again. Hit quickly by Rhett Butcher, leading tackler on the team and one of the top marks in the low country. Is it enough? No, that'll be about a yard short.
And they go back, they're going to look at Major and say that he missed his. Dante Smith had the block to the outside. He decided to cut inside of the block where all the traffic was. And Puddin is down. Puddin is down. Puddin is down.
Yeah, this is not a good look here for Goose Creek and their offensive line. Chris Collins was worried about him before the game, and he's been a big player for him.
Got a brace on that right leg coming into the game. I don't.
They use him all around the line. I mean, and you'll see that at the high school level when you've got a guy on the line. Sometimes he'll be a guard so he can pull, sometimes a tackle, depending on the play. So it's good to see him get up.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Puddin's my favorite football player ever, and I'm going to tell you why. You had a trainer right there. You had Singleton right there. Said, try to help me up. He's like, nope, I got it.
There he is in the middle.
Didn't see anything really happen other than kind of a wall collapsed around him.
Yeah, hard to tell. He was favoring the right leg. So they clear that pile, and now we'll measure.
Yeah, Puddin wanted no help, by the way. He's like, I got this. I got it.
Yeah, but does the team got it? I'm going to say no. About a yard, maybe? Half of it. Another fourth down opportunity here for the Gators.
I'm not sure if Puddin's ready to come in, but he's got to sit out at least one play unless they call a timeout.
Right. And if you're going to have any success as a running or an option team, 4th and half a yard in a meaningful spot is something you have to pick up.
Yep.
Major runs on late here, and Dante Smith is out.
Dominic Pauly coming in for Puddin. So they got almost.
They don't even need a full yard. And they're going to go to the outside. Major cuts it in, bounces away, and then he's hit forward enough for the first down.
How about that?
What a break.
Again, they missed the block to the outside. First guy comes in. Major does a really nice job just seeing the field to cut it inside, and then the spin move and takes the hit. I'm going to tell you right now, I watched him come off a couple of times. This is a kid who doesn't like to come off the field.
Seems to be taking to his new role as a running back pretty nicely.
You got Smith deep in the backfield now.
Cunningham blocking for Dante Smith. So this is kind of their jumbo-ish package with the fullback back there in front of Dante. It doesn't pick up a whole lot. Oh, Dean.
Yes.
We've just been given a birthday present to you. Hey, Erica. All right, I know you've got an answer for Dean.
I do.
What do you got?
It's not Puddin, but it's still pretty good. His nickname is Cheese.
Oh.
Cheese. Big
Who
Cheese.
would want their nickname to be Cheese? I love cheese.
Not Swiss, because there's not many holes in this kid's game.
Cheddar.
Clever.
Smith.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's able to get into Rodney Oldham's arms. And
It almost looked like a reverse horse tackle.
right. And
Something looked really odd on that tackle, didn't it?
and part of the new rule this year in college, I believe high school adopted it as well. You don't need to grab inside the pads for a horse collar. That right there, grabbing the jersey up top, qualifies.
Really?
That's new to the rule this year, at least at the college level.
Well, they've got 1st and goal. And Cheese Puddin's back in the game.
Singleton wants to go pretty quickly. It's going to be Smith. Smith lowers his shoulder, and he's short. Oldham, Butcher, 2 linebackers, took some penalty on that hit. Not a legitimate flag penalty, but the penalty of getting run into by Dante Smith. That's how the 3rd quarter comes to a close. So the homestanding Gators on homecoming, looking for their 2nd consecutive win, knocking on the door for their first touchdown of the day when we bring you back for the 4th. The running of Major and Dante Smith combined have Goose Creek over 120 yards on the ground. It also has them knocking on the door for their first touchdown of the day and a 1-score game if they can convert this here. Glad you're with us for Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy dealers. And Dante Smith drives the pile in for a Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdown. 3 seconds into the final quarter.
I'm going to tell you something. Just watching it from up here, that is as excited and energetic as a team I've seen down 14. I mean, this is a team, and again, I've not seen Goose Creek play in a couple years. I saw them play back in the day when they dominated, but I love what Chris Kander has brought to this team.
And it's a real testament to Kander, who is a Goose Creek grad in the late 80s, longtime defensive coordinator here. And when you go from the success that the Gators had throughout a stretch where, I mean, it was like Fort Dorchester is right now.
Yes.
When you go from that to a quick fall off.
Yes.
3 wins last year, struggling to move the ball at all to begin this year. It's easy to lose that locker room. It's easy for kids to not have faith. But Chris Kander said, look, they're working hard. They do believe. And the fact that they had success last week, that they could see, all right, look, all this work we're putting in, it's worth something.
Right.
I mean, that's invaluable to 15, 16-year-olds.
Well,
no fair catch called for, but a knee will be taken pretty quickly there by Chavis.
Yeah, I told you how much I liked him as a wide receiver. I think he's probably also an academic genius because he just did a really smart thing right there. It was almost just a little pooch punt on that kick and said, you know, I think kneeling at the 32 is a good call right here. So what does Kenny Walker do here? Go back to the run?
Matt Duncan is 5 out of 17 with a couple of picks today. Rushing-wise, Cunningham 55 yards. Duncan has officially 4 because he's taken a few sacks. They're going to want to get the ball in McAfee's hands, so they do on that jet sweep. Chased down there by the safety Wilson. Second straight week, I'm impressed. Check it, Martin, number 9, the senior.
Yeah.
He's all over the field.
Well, it's obvious in halftime they had a conversation that their first priority is to get it to number 1. Because on that first series out, they had a couple of just quick throws out to the side, picked up some positive yardage, and they've got him on the jet sweep right here. And this is a guy who I don't think touched the ball in the first half.
Did not. Didn't pick up much. 2nd down and 9 here for the Swamp Foxes, who have never beaten Goose Creek and are trying to bounce back from a loss to Somerville. They'll take lost yardage instead. Keyshawn Mays got in there. Big old 51 in there with Jerry Jenkins, 91.
I will tell you that I'm no doctor, but again, this looks like a cramp here. I believe that's what Cheese Puddin was suffering with, was crampage.
And down is Deshaun Holly.
But again, how about that defensive line, right? And that was, we talked about at the top of the show. They had to control the offensive line. Ashley Ridge needed to. They didn't on the last drive, and they haven't here, I don't think, really for the entire game, other than a couple of nice runs by Cunningham off to the right side earlier in the first half.
We're crunching more numbers, brought to you by Heritage Trust Federal Credit Union. Trust is everything. You can trust us. Well, you can trust David Shelton that he gave us these numbers, so if they're wrong,
nah.
I'm kidding. Rhett Butcher was 69. Oldham was 68, so top 4 in the area, both of them in terms of tackles, as the medical staff attends to Deshaun Holly, one of the seniors on the line. But back to your point, Dean, absolutely. This defensive line for the Gators has been they've been dominant. You've got Matt Duncan, who's one of the better quarterbacks, despite being just a sophomore, at 5 of 17 with a couple of picks. He's been running for his life. And save a couple of Cunningham runs. I mean, they've been dominating that line of scrimmage.
You know, the interesting thing, too, here is that this Goose Creek defense has given up about 170 yards per game on the ground, and they have really clamped down on this Swamp Fox offense.
4-man rush on 3rd down. That's incomplete. Again, the pressure got right up in the face of Matt Duncan. It was the same guy, Keyshawn Mays.
McAfee kind of lost his footing out on the far sidelines. We talked earlier as well. The far sidelines chewed up. I mean, that was just, even in warm-ups today, It looked like somebody pulled a tractor through this place.
James Wilson back inside of his 40, awaiting this punt.
They do not come after the punter. Wilson had a couple of nice returns earlier.
It's the best punt of the day. Here goes Wilson, room to the near side. A big block you can see coming from a mile away.
Yep.
That leveled in there against Najee Hill, and it opens up 15 yards more.
Did you see? I said he had some big returns. He had another one coming. But, yeah, you could see the setup block coming right here. You get the head, kind of around.
Kind of around.
Kind of around in a roundabout way. Stepped out of bounds at the 50-yard line. Leading the cheers on the sidelines.
Cheese
pudding. Cheese pudding leading the cheer as the offense
now
went out of the field.
That's not something that would taste good.
Cheese pudding?
You know, there's rice pudding. That's okay.
I've never known cheese to taste bad or pudding. I'm just saying.
You just haven't tried cheese pudding.
I think actually that's called queso.
Yeah, you know what? You're a smart man, Dean Stevens.
Ooh.
Tavion Major picks up about 5.5. Nice lead block there once again by Cunningham, who is seeing some good time out here as the fullback. Curtis checking.
Butcher's down. I believe it's Butcher down at the 45-yard line. I think he got rolled up on his left ankle. You know how, I don't know if you've ever injured an ankle, but there's an old adage that it's better to break it than sprain it, like a bad sprain.
I partially tore my Achilles, and that was not fun.
Right.
I was also 21, so it didn't heal particularly well.
Right.
Not because I was 21, but because I was doing things 21-year-olds are doing and not letting it heal.
Were you doing something a 21-year-old would do when you partially tore it?
I was playing flag football.
Okay.
And at the time, I was studying abroad in Australia. So yeah, I mean, breaking it would have been a much easier process to heal because even today, old man Darren here.
Yeah. Still give you a problem?
It can.
Yeah?
It's rare, but it can.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
Well,
hopefully that's just not the same case here for Butcher.
The bad news is it doesn't get better.
When you get older?
No.
Oh. All right, we're going to roll through our stop of the game here. Our Will Lou Gray, never stop learning, stop of the game. What do we think it's going to be? I like this one. Anton Williams forcing that interception there for E.J. Evie. Will Lou Gray, never stop learning, stop of the game. That was during a rash of turnovers. I believe it was 4 straight possessions there was a turnover at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so we've got the package are stops of the game.
Oh, like
see, Nick Case in point, rolling that in, trying to catch us off guard.
Should have been Nick's on the case. Huh?
Talk to him about it. He created it.
Should have talked to the Goldwater Stevens Consulting Group.
We can start that.
Maybe
be a branch of Nellwater Consulting.
I mean, if they only knew how we could multitask up here and what we do, absolutely.
True professionals.
Here we go.
That's not going anywhere on second down. That was Butcher straight through the middle. Check it, E-step. And Avion Dennis as well. So
that's the first time that I've seen Major kind of come up hobbling and limping a little bit. He's been the one handing out most of the punishment, but really ran into a wall on the right side of that Ashley Ridge defensive line.
Big third down here for Goose Creek right now. You say that, but it's 4 down territory. You know, they're looking at third down and a long 5 here.
I like this.
Major strings it out, then cuts it downfield. Picks up the first down as the Swamp Foxes go for the strip. Blaine Du Bois more interested in the ball than the person. It gives up the first down in the process.
I'm telling you what, man, this kid is jacked up. He's been this way the entire game. He is fire. Major fire.
Third down conversion of the night for Goose Creek.
Now, I don't want to put the mule before the cart here, but if you scored, you go for 2.
And go for the win right there.
Go for the win right there.
We're going to have second down and 10. It'll depend. I mean, if you score quickly here, say you punch it in with 8 minutes to go, going for 2 would seem to be pretty early.
Okay. Again, Major's coming out. He's holding his left arm, which on the previous run seemed to hurt a little bit. Trainer's going to look at that wrist, forearm area down by the hand.
A lot of guys banged up here, particularly in the second half.
Yeah, he's in a lot of pain.
Goose Creek, congratulations, the cheer squad. More of you at home texted cheer A for the home team. And they have 1 hour cheer of the night. Goose Creek also takes a timeout, I think, directly related to this Tavion Major arm injury.
Yep.
And they want to see if they can get him back on the field clearly, because if you don't take this timeout, you can't. Here's what happened.
I think it's, yeah, he gets a couple of helmets stuck right in there.
Timeout on the field. We will step aside. 2nd down and 8 coming up for the Gators inside 9 minutes to play.
Here we go, ready? Go to market, go to market, go to market, go to... That is cheese pudding shaking all he's got.
He's having some fun down there.
He's loose. He feels good.
Well, now they're going to need him as he takes his spot there over at left guard.
Major back in the game, by the way.
And Curtis is the fullback, not Dante Smith. Singleton with the fake and the keep and a first down. First time they've run that play in 2 weeks. Well designed coming out of the timeout.
See, they give him enough for the spot. I think it's going to be a little short.
It's a first down, I believe. Kenan Lavelle can't quite make up his mind, and they're going to go, no, he's short. So to be perfectly transparent, that's the second or third time I've totally blown one of those before. We're not in the best spot to see down in distance.
Let's see what they do. They got
giving it the old college try.
Got a new backfield in right now. 65 and 21.
Yep, Shepard's back there, but it's just Singleton straight ahead. That'll be the first down.
Now you get the first down.
Yep.
Say it loud. Say it strong.
And proud.
Loud and proud.
I knew it was coming. Tavion Major checks back in. Tremaine James, 6'1", 330, affectionately nicknamed Puddin' by Dean. Apparently Cheese is the actual nickname. He's the one keeping everyone loose down there as well. You can see it after every play. Curtis leads the way for Major, who slips underneath the first and second waves before he was eventually stopped by Darius Smith, the junior free safety.
He sees a hole and he goes for it. He doesn't. He's not conventional back there. He doesn't follow his blocking back. He had McGee kind of going to the outside, but he saw something on the inside that he liked. Liked it enough for 6 yards.
Last week, Goose Creek put up 31 points and virtually all of their yards in the first half in beating West Ashley. Here in this late in the third quarter, now into the fourth, the offense has found something. It's the opposite of what happened last week. Singleton. That's not going anywhere. Jack Bruffy, the junior, number 55 down there. Got some help by Blaine DuBois.
I like the idea, but I think the pitch would have been maybe a little better served then, huh?
I wonder how much freedom DeJon Singleton has when you're seamlessly running this offense and have been doing so for years. Your quarterback has all of the freedom in the world. But week 3 of it, I don't know how many options are really at his disposal and how many fakes are straight one option type of plays.
Yep.
Third down and 5 over the middle. Touchdown, Gators. L.J. Stanley, second grab of the day. This Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdown has the Gators within a point.
You know what's funny about that play? I had forgotten they even throw the ball. They've run the ball probably how many straight times? Going back the last 2 series. Probably 12, 14 times.
Yeah.
I think Ashley Ridge forgot that they could throw the ball too.
And L.J. Stanley was a defensive lineman up until last week, when prior to the game he was given to me as a starter on the defensive line, and then moments before kickoff I was told, you know what, 99 is going to be a tight end now. Didn't have a catch last week, 2 of them this week. Gators are tied. A formerly winless team after 3 weeks that had 200 total yards of offense and 7 total points after 3 weeks finds themselves up against it, trailing 17-3, and fights their way back with 6:09 to play.
I would tell you it's about trusting the process. Trust the process, trust the offense, trust the guy to your left and to your right. And that's the thing I see with Goose Creek. These guys play for each other. And when you're playing for cheese pudding, you're playing for a lot. Now he's just entertaining the crowd. He's up against the fence talking to 3 or 4 people. I think he's going to throw out some footballs here in a minute. That's awesome. That's so awesome. Love it.
Kids having fun playing a kid's game and playing it well.
By the way, what's happened since the 3:35 mark?
Since that 3:35 mark, it was the 3:16 mark in the third quarter.
Yeah.
It was 17-3 at the time. Yep. Ashley Ridge was leading.
Yeah.
So 14 points have happened, and none of them are Ashley Ridge's points.
There you go.
Yeah. So you said a little while ago that we in the media don't always have a crystal ball, but you may.
Well, I don't, but okay.
What will the Swamp Foxes do now? Their offense has just ground to a halt these last few possessions.
I will tell you 5 for 17 is, for Duncan, is kind of a mirage. And I think any minute he can get right back on track. If he does, they can score in 3 plays.
Went with that sweep earlier in the quarter. Instead, it'll be Duncan. Doesn't like it. Duncan bumped out. That's a legal hit. It was applied right before the sideline there by Darrell Spann after a short pickup, maybe 3 or 4.
I thought a flag was coming for sure. Let's take a look at it again. He was still in the field of play?
Yeah, right at the sideline. At least that's how I saw it. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Still disagree?
No.
Okay.
I'm on the side of, questionable hits.
Duncan bobbles it, still able to get it off to Cunningham with those short, quick steps. Jags his way to the outside like a jagged knife. That's where the Jags comment was going. It picks up the first down.
Very nice. Lewis loses his helmet. He's got to come off. He's got to come off the field for a play. What left them in trouble right there was number 9 for Goose Creek. Martin comes flying up from his safety spot, misses the tackle. And that just takes one more person out of that kind of second level of defense.
Chavis is the decoy straight ahead with Cunningham, who pinballs his way for about 3.5, maybe 4.
You see what he did so well right there, going into the heart of that defense. 2 hands on the ball, covered up. Enough to pick up 4. And to prove your theory wrong, I do not have a crystal ball because they did not score in 3 plays.
No, they did not. But this is more what Ashley Ridge would want in an ideal scenario. Score, but take off time before doing so. Another low snap, and again Duncan bails him out. Cunningham gets through the grasp of one and picks up another first down. Starting to ride Nick Cunningham here a little bit. He's down to the 32.
Ashley Ridge still has 3 timeouts, 4:50 on the clock, plenty of time.
Swamp Foxes never got on track last week against Somerville. Took their second loss. Kenny Walker knows that this team could be 4-1, though. An extra point cost them a win over Boiling Springs, one of the better teams in 5A ball up in the Spartanburg area. One more time, Cunningham is down. That's about the hardest hit he's taken today. This one from Spann.
Yeah, Spann has laid out a few people today. But again, we talk a long time about this defense. They played so well. And as the offense struggled through, their first 3 games or so, you wonder what kind of toll that takes, not on the physical side, but on the mental side of the defense.
Haven't attempted a pass on this drive. And Duncan will try here and almost got it complete. It's skipped there into Josh Sharrow. Tyler Ravenel right there with him.
Now I would tell you that in a tight situation like that, you just got to eat it. You got to eat it because you're throwing it, and it's better to eat it than to give it away.
Yeah. Duncan, who has been picked twice tonight, stops the clock. Looking at 3rd down and 9 here. You're going to move the pocket, give him a little bit more freedom, and it works out beautifully. Just like they drew it up, a first down strike to McAfee at the 20.
McAfee found a little spot in that zone, just sat down in it. And like on the interception prior to him, he used his body to kind of shield the Goose Creek defender.
Don't be surprised if the rest of the year you don't see Ashley Ridge bootlegging Duncan out a couple more times. If that line continues to have their growing pains,
yep,
just get him some room. He can throw it on the run. He's proven it time and time again. Cunningham takes a walloping.
I also, in that formation, you've got single coverage on the top side. If they could get single coverage on McAfee one-on-one on the wide side of the field, I'd love to see Duncan just kind of throw it up in the end zone, let him run underneath and grab it. He's that good. You got Litton on the right side. McAfee and Chavis were down on the near side on a 2-receiver set. The problem here is if they're able to score, Goose Creek's not a quick strike offense.
They're using almost all of the play clock. They will get this one in the hands of McAfee, showing you the power.
Yeah, it's good.
Gets himself low. Leg strength as he gets through Anthony Martin.
Yeah, he's really good. Put together well, 6'1", 210 with speed.
Short of the first down, though. Third down at about 4. And this drive right now is exactly what Ashley Ridge was hoping for when they took over with just more than 6 minutes to go. Eat some clock, get into scoring range, and try and score with no time left. Bam!
Oh my gosh!
Once again, Keyshawn Mays.
I don't think it matters if it's Mays or Edie or Lawrence or Martin or Spann. These guys are so quick to the hole. And they don't miss tackles, by the way.
Just jumped right through the gap. And the tackle's been in the backfield often tonight.
See if they use a timeout here to talk about whether they want to go for it or kick the field goal.
The play clock is at 15, now 14, so in about 10 seconds from now, they'll probably take the timeout. And I think it's easy to guess a field goal try here, well within range.
A 17, 34-yarder. Field goal earlier was
37.
About that, and had plenty to spare.
Dean, we've got our Smooth Move brought to you by Yaden Chiropractic Clinic.
I could use a little back work right now, by the way.
I can't help you.
Oh,
I like it.
Couldn't have picked a better one.
Nope, perfectly done. Smooth Move brought to you by Yaden Chiropractic Clinic. The
It's happy.
The pass over there to L.J. Stanley, the former D lineman.
I think Javon Kinlaw was 99 here, wasn't he? Maybe 8. No, I think he was 99. That guy was
think you're right.
So big on the basketball court. Oh, my goodness.
State champs here now. Goose Creek's got a basketball program.
Yeah.
Blake Hall used to be a graduate assistant at the Citadel, coaching him.
Yeah,
anyway.
they were good. So they're going to go for the field goal and give the ball back to him with $1:40 left.
Yes, they will. Alex Lazik, 2 for 2 on the year. And that one is blasted right through. No doubt about it. The lead in the hands of Ashley Ridge with 1:37 to play.
A little LASIK surgery on that ball, just slicing it right through.
So he's got a 37-yarder. Now he's got a 34-yarder. And more importantly, the Swamp Foxes, who trailed 3-0, then strung 17 unanswered together, then watched a 14-point lead dissipate here in this fourth quarter. Back on top with a minute and a half to go. Fort Dorchester only gets to 63 tonight. And West Ashley off the mat to tie Somerville at 22 here in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
West Ashley team that got pushed around by Goose Creek last week and was trailing 22-7 to Somerville today.
You know, the other one, too, here to point out, Wando gets crushed by Fort Dorchester. They come back with an impressive win against Stratford, an impressive win against James Island. Beat the teams you've got to beat. Put yourself in a position to get postseason play.
Lots of teams are taking the beating at the hands of Fort Dorchester. How about that?
It's not bad.
First time we've seen that leg showed off.
Not bad. You know, I will tell you, when I pulled up to this parking lot, I was looking for card 15. You want it?
I was going to let you finish the story and just let them deal with it.
It's a long story.
It's your Low Country Chevy dealer's key play of the game. It'll be that field goal for the lead. Lazik from 34.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna need an injury timeout to finish the story.
Oh, it's that long, huh? Hopefully we don't have an injury timeout here in the last minute 37. See if Goose Creek can march it down the field and keep some mojo alive. Uh-oh, that ball pops free and gets out of bounds. Fortunately for the Gators.
Major's Singleton's ankle. He had trouble with it earlier in this half. Just looked like the way that somebody came up on the back side of him.
Someone missed a block on the right side and forced Singleton, you'll see it here, quickly to make a move and then get dragged here.
Yeah. So, as I was pulling up here today, I could not stop thinking about the Singleton family, about Chris Singleton, about his mother, Sharonda, who worked at this school and who spent so much time at this school and spent so much time on the track with these kids. And then we come into this game, and we've got a quarterback named Singleton, not related to Chris or Sharonda. Of course, she lost her life in the Mother Emanuel shootings. And the efforts at the school to raise money for scholarships for this track program, to outfit some of the athletic department over here. Chris is back home from playing summer ball. His two younger siblings are moving in with he and his soon-to-be wife. They wanted to go to the same school where their mother taught and where their brother graduated from. You talked about the state championship basketball team that he played on, and so think a lot about the Singleton family when you come to this place. Told you I needed a timeout.
You did. Jake Chapman is the quarterback who comes in here after Singleton was helped off the field. So Chapman pitches one to the turf, and they're back 7 more yards. Rodney Oldham, returning starter, second leading tackler on the team, has put Goose Creek in quite the predicament here.
Kander wants a timeout, and Major wants the ball.
Kander gets the timeout. They need to get out to the 30, and the line of scrimmage is going to be just inside of the 10. Chevy Silverado drive of the game. Which drive are we going to pick out from? I wouldn't be shocked if it was going to be a Goose Creek touchdown. So instead, it's going to be this Ashley Ridge drive here. Nick Cunningham has really done a nice job spelling Matt Duncan here in that offensive line. This is the drive that leads to the go-ahead field goal.
Yeah.
Split through with 1:37 to go.
How about that?
But one thing has certainly changed with Goose Creek. Through 3 weeks, Goose Creek was looking like, on paper, a team that opponents welcome playing. Now, after a win at West Ashley and a very hard-fought, hard-hitting game here with Ashley Ridge, this team clearly is better this week than it was last week. There's no question about that.
Right.
It becomes more of a challenge for the opposition as they continue to expand their playbook. Chapman will stay in.
Step up in the pocket, let it rip.
And that's what he'll do. Well covered by Najee Hill. Did we get a flag?
Yeah, he had his hands all over him.
I didn't see the flag come out. I saw the reaction instead.
I don't know where the flag went. But yeah, he had hands on the entire time down. But a well-thrown ball for a kid just coming off the bench.
So you're coming option for a couple of weeks. Now you get an injury to your quarterback, bring in the gunslinger and start chucking it around.
Yeah,
there's the flag.
The cloth was coming off the pad there.
That is a huge play, not because of the yardage, but because it gives Goose Creek a first down.
No, they spotted it third.
They
Why
did.
would
They
do
moved
that?
it back 15 yards instead of spotted the foul. And it's not an automatic first down, but Singleton is back in. They had initially put the ball farther up, and then they backed it. So 3rd down and about 7. Singleton can't get to the edge there as he tries to sprint on that injured leg. They're going to need to pick up the first down here to keep this game alive.
Was able to get out of bounds, stops the clock. They still hold on to 1 timeout. But that won't matter if they don't pick up the first down here.
Corey Lucas, the receiver that runs to the top of the screen. Dante Smith is the fullback. Straight drop back for Singleton. Singleton is looking for Lucas. And he just can't work his way around Ombre Kennedy. As the pass falls incomplete on 4th down, Ashley Ridge is going to escape Goose Creek with a victory. Despite their sophomore quarterback, Matt Duncan, having somewhat of an off night, 5 out of 17. Constantly under pressure, constantly getting hit.
I think a lot of that goes to
the line.
Goose Creek defense. They played really, really well. And, man, they laid it on the line. I mean, that was 4 quarters of effort.
Yep.
You like to see it?
Yeah, it's fun to see. It's fun to see, particularly for a team that, again, 200 yards of offense and 7 points in their first 3 games, to see them come this far.
Right.
Clearly improve from last week to this week with a lot of things changing. You switch up from your RPO, your up-tempo offense, and go to the options. It's tough to swallow.
Yep. Ashley Ridge able to put together one solid, positive drive. They work about 4.5 minutes off the clock or so, and they come away with points, and those were the game winners.
They got the ball in a tie game with 6:09 to play, kicked the field goal with 1:37 left to take the lead, and eventually what will be win the game here as Goose Creek stops the clock.
You know, this is where I think it's interesting, too, as a coach. I mean, this is why you get paid, right? When you talk to this team in the locker room after this loss tonight, I think you got to be really careful because it's not they don't want to hear about moral victories, right? I mean, they made a couple of mistakes inside or in the first half. A couple of turnovers, hurt them, 3 of them. 6 penalties, second half, much cleaner play. You know, so if you talk about anything, maybe you talk about that. You clean it up in the first half. But as far as effort goes and energy and intensity and playing for the guy to your left and right, they were spot on.
Yeah.
And that's hard. I think that's hard to get out of 16, 17, 18-year-old kids.
Without a doubt. And I think in terms of playing hard for 4 quarters, you could say the same here for Ashley Ridge.
Sure.
They, in their first 2 possessions, lasted 6 plays, a couple of 3 and outs. They went -6 yards in their first 2 possessions, and Goose Creek took the early lead. But turnovers changed the momentum. They scored on a short field with a field goal, then a touchdown drive, had a 17-3 lead in the half, and then kick a field goal with 1:37 to play to win this game and bounce back from the loss to Somerville last week.
And again, second half, well played by both sides, not as sloppy as the first half. And Ashley Ridge puts themselves in a position now at 4-2, where you've got Fort Dorchester coming up and then 3 winnables at Wando, James Island, and Stratford.
First time in their program's history that Ashley Ridge has beaten Goose Creek. They do it with a field goal with 1:37 left and win it 20-17. We'll get you back here to wrap this thing up, talk with Kenny Walker, and put a bow on this. Ashley Ridge beats Goose Creek here 20-17.